huge number of people flew on the charter flights, and lots of people paid real money to fly on the scheduled services. You know, you're looking at a 27-year period. That's a lot of people at 100 seats a time. But it was a privilege for everybody who had a chance to do it, and I admired the people that used their savings to fly on the aeroplane, and I gave them as much VIP treatment as I gave the Yul Brynners and the John Travoltas. And
yeah, you must have a whole list of celebrities up your sleeve. Oh, we were looking as if he's about to head off.
Yes, here we go. Right, this is it. We've got the throttles obviously wide open now, and the afterburners will be alight. The speed is going to increase, not quite as fast as the Edinburgh flight because the aeroplane is heavier, and it's probably reached the point now. We used a low decision speed on this runway, so he's probably committed himself to continuing the takeoff. And when we get a look up the back end, we'll be able to see, he's got the nose off already. So it's accelerating slower, so the nose is raised a bit slower, and he's taking it up to 12 degrees, and he's now just holding it at 12 degrees there. And there he goes, into the left-hand turn, and you can see Jamaica Bay there, and up comes the undercarriage. And he's got about 20 degrees of bank on there, 25 degrees of bank, if my memory serves me correctly, and you can see the afterburners glowing there and the heat coming out of them. Wonderful sight. That's sort of a lovely departure. There's not a pilot around who didn't enjoy that Canarsie departure in a Concorde. Right, so we probably are now just about, it was about 40 seconds from start of takeoff to when you cut out the afterburners, brought the power back and rolled off the bank a bit. Putting bank on increases the drag on the aeroplane, which means it doesn't perform so well. So when you cut out the power, you roll the bank off a bit. And he's now heading towards Canarsie Island to pick up a bearing from the beacon that's on Canarsie. The aeroplane's only just barely climbing at the moment and just whispering past the noise monitoring unit.
What's the noise like inside the cabin for those lucky enough to be on there at the moment? It must be.
It's thrilling. It's a thrilling noise. You know, I've never seen anybody with their fingers in their ears complaining about it. But on one or two occasions, I did go and sit right down the back in the cabin crew seats in the galley, right next door to the engines. And that is startling, I tell you. That is.
What can you feel?
Well, you feel a lot more vibration, but the noise is just quite incredible, and it generates more excitement. Now you can see now he's continuing the turn now, so he's passed over Canarsie Island and he's heading out towards the coast. And as soon as he's over the coast, he can flatten the climb a bit and let the speed build up to a limiting speed. We had a computer which would work out the limiting speed for any condition, and Concorde was at its most economic if we were flying on that limiting speed the whole time. So we were really pushing the boundaries all the time, and he'll be locking on to that speed limiter now. And because he's out over the coast, there won't be any sort of level subsonic flight. As soon as the Mach number gets up to 0.93, if you're unrestricted, bring the afterburners in and continue that acceleration through Mach 1, climbing all the time, all the way across the Atlantic. It'll be what is called a cruise climb, where you keep full power on and you hang on to your limiting speed, which will eventually be Mach 2.02. It will shunt backwards and forwards from Mach 2 to 2.02. And you let the aeroplane find the height at which it can sustain Mach 2.
And leaves at a speed at which I was reading that a bullet leaves a rifle.
Yes. I don't know who measured it.
Let's speak to our correspondent, Andrew Wilson, who's observed that
Here we go.
for real. Andrew, what was it like?
Well, quite extraordinary. All the camera crews were told by the B8 staff, look out to your left there. We did. Up she went and twisted. And what was the most reassuring was hearing your pilot in the studio talking us through exactly what's going on. It's always much more reassuring on commercial aircraft when someone who knows what they're talking about describes to you what exactly is happening, so you know that sudden bank to the left or that noise in your right ear is exactly what's supposed to be happening and not something terrible about to go wrong. Well, nothing went wrong with that, certainly. News helicopters tracking it all the way out there. Mr. Pilot Bannister there taking it out over the sea. It's quite extraordinary. And all the staff, as I said before, from the Concorde Lounge and the ground crews and so on, joined us up here on the viewing deck to have the last look of what will be the last departure from JFK. Leaving behind nothing now except a bit of tarmac that the Concorde was so used to, and now will be filled no doubt by other larger, more economical and probably more boring planes in the future.
Yes, certainly more boring planes. I don't think anybody would disagree with that, Andrew. Colin, it's sad to think that's the last New York we'll see of Concorde.
First of all, I found someone who says I know what I'm talking about. This is a first. It very, very
That's
sad.
why we have you here.
Very, very sad moment. I only matched by my last departure from New York, but there'll be a lot of tears at Kennedy Airport now, I think, and no doubt there'll be some people who will say good riddance, but I can't think that there'll be many.
It was interesting, we were speaking to, we'll go back to some of the pictures we had there a few moments ago, just those moments where Concorde was taking off. We were listening to some of the comments of some of the celebs on board. Jeremy Clarkson earlier on said this is a giant leap backwards for mankind, that the fact that this is now going to be decommissioned. Is that something you'd agree with, Colin?
Oh, absolutely. My hero, Jeremy Clarkson, he's got it absolutely right. It's got to be a giant leap. We used to have to position crews backwards and forwards across the Atlantic, and there were occasions when I had, look at that sight, isn't that just a most wonderful sight there? There were occasions when I could choose whether to go back on the Concorde or go first class in the Jumbo. And just occasionally I used to think, well, I'll go first class on the Jumbo. And after about 3 hours, you realise you've had your meal, you've seen the movie, and then you think, what on earth do I do now? I've made a terrible mistake. I should have gone on the Concorde. In the good old early days, we'd all meet in a pub on the A4 afterwards. You know, there'd be 3 Concordes arriving roughly at the same time, 2 New Yorks and the Washington, and sometimes a Bahrain, and we'd meet for a quick pint before going home.
Wonderful
in the
memories.
days when that was allowed.
Colin, we'll rejoin you in a few moments' time. Stay with us here on Sky News.